1. Clarity is power. The man who communicates with clarity commands the room before he ever raises his voice. The world does not listen to confusion. The world does not pause for the man whose mind stumbles in fog. If you wish to rise, you must first understand that clarity is not a gift. It is a discipline. A man with a clear message is a man with a clear mission, and the one who has a clear mission never wastes a single word. The beginning of all powerful communication is rooted in one truth. Your words reflect the condition of your thinking. The sharper your thoughts, the sharper your speech. If your mind is scattered, your message will be lost before it ever leaves your lips. But if your thinking is focused, disciplined, and precise, your words become weapons of influence, conviction, and change. To achieve clarity, you must think before you speak. The undisciplined man blurts out whatever comes to mind. The disciplined communicator filters his thoughts through purpose. Ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve with my words? If you cannot answer that question, you are not ready to speak. Words must never be used casually, because casual words lead to casual results. You must speak with intention. You must speak with structure. You must speak with vision. The man who speaks with clarity is not the loudest man in the room. He is the most understood. His sentences are short. His message is simple. His meaning is unforgettable. He does not hide behind jargon. He does not inflate his language with empty sophistication. He strips away every unnecessary syllable until what remains is the truth, raw, direct, and impossible to ignore. Clarity requires courage. It is easy to speak in circles, to use cleverness as a shield, to hide behind big words so that if you fail, you can blame misunderstanding. But the clear speaker takes full responsibility for his message. He says what he means and means what he says. He risks being misunderstood by being bold. He knows that communication is not about impressing people. It is about impacting them. When a man becomes clear in his speech, people begin to follow him. Why? Because they trust him. They believe he knows where he's going. They believe he's thought it through. Clarity creates certainty, and certainty builds influence. You cannot lead anyone if you speak like someone who is lost. You cannot inspire anyone if your words wander without a destination. Train your mind daily. Read to feed your intellect. Write to sharpen your logic. Reflect to organize your beliefs, and speak to serve, not to show off. When your words have a mission, they move mountains. But when your words have no direction, they disappear like dust in the wind. Most people are not failing because they lack intelligence. They are failing because they cannot express that intelligence in a way the world understands. Don't be one of them. A man who seeks to be powerful must first seek to be understood. And to be understood, you must cut through the noise with the sword of clarity. Speak less, say more. Remove the clutter from your communication like a sculptor chisels away stone until the masterpiece appears. That masterpiece is your message, clean, bold, and unforgettable. You must become a student of clarity. Watch the masters. Study the speeches that move nations. You will find something in common: simplicity. Every great communicator reduces the complex into the understandable. They use stories, analogies, and vivid images to drive their point into the heart. They make the complicated feel natural. They make the listener feel smart, not small. That is clarity, and that is power. When you possess clarity, your communication becomes a bridge between vision and reality. Your words give form to the invisible. Your message turns thought into transformation. That is why you must discipline your language. That is why you must aim every word like a marksman aims a bullet. Don't just talk, build with your language. Don't just inform, shape futures. Don't just explain. Create belief. The man who masters clarity is the man who becomes indispensable. In a world full of noise, he becomes the signal. In a sea of confusion, he becomes the lighthouse. While others babble for attention, he speaks and silence falls, because everyone knows that what he says matters. This is not the result of natural charisma. It is the result of deliberate thought, intentional speaking, focused communication. That's how clarity becomes your crown too. Listening is influence. If you wish to become a master of communication, begin not with your mouth, but with your ears. The power to speak persuasively is born from the ability to listen intently. Influence is not achieved by dominating conversations. It is achieved by understanding what the other person truly needs, fears, believes, and desires. And that understanding only comes to the one who listens, not to reply, but to comprehend. Most people listen with one ear and prepare their response with the other. That is not listening. That is waiting for your turn to talk. The man who commands attention, the man who persuades others, the man who moves people to action, he does not listen for pauses, he listens for pain, he listens for the unsaid, he listens beneath the surface of the words. And in doing so, he gains control, not through force, but through insight. The secret to communication is not talking louder, it is connecting deeper, and the root of connection is listening. People don't open up to those who talk too much. People open up to those who make them feel heard. When someone feels heard, they feel valued, and when they feel valued, they trust you. That trust is the foundation of influence. That trust is what allows your message to enter their heart instead of bouncing off their pride. Listen with your eyes, listen with your presence, turn off distractions, silence the noise, look them in the eye. Let them know that nothing matters more to you in this moment than what they are saying. That level of attention is rare, and anything rare is powerful. In a world where everyone wants to be noticed, the man who listens becomes magnetic. Do not listen only to facts. Listen for emotions. What are they really trying to say? What are they afraid to admit? What do they hope you understand without them saying it? That is the real communication. Words are often masks. Emotions are the truth, and the listener who can uncover those truths gains an advantage no speaker ever will. When you become a great listener, your responses become lightning bolts. Why? Because they strike directly at the center of the problem. You won't waste time offering surface level advice. You won't waste energy speaking just to fill silence. You'll speak directly to the need. You'll offer answers no one else saw because no one else listened long enough to find them. Listening also disarms conflict. A man who listens can calm a storm without raising his voice. He absorbs frustration without reacting emotionally. He makes people feel safe in his presence, even when they're angry. That power makes him a leader, even in rooms where he has no title. That power gives him access to places where loud mouths are never invited. Train your listening like a skill. Sit with silence. Ask better questions. Repeat back what you hear to confirm understanding. When someone speaks, give them your full attention as if they hold the key to your success, because often they do. Every person you meet knows something you don't. Every conversation you have is a classroom, and if you show up ready to listen, you leave with wisdom that money cannot buy. You must become the kind of communicator who listens not for information, but for transformation. Let others speak their minds, let them open their hearts, let them reveal themselves, because once they do, you will know exactly how to reach them. You will speak to them in a way no one else ever has. And that's when you earn their loyalty, their respect, and their action. Listening is not weakness, it is strategy, it is discipline, it is a rare form of strength. The man who listens does not lose control. He gains control by understanding. And the one who understands always leads. While others rush to be heard, you will rise by choosing to hear. While others chase the spotlight, you will attract it by giving your full attention to others. That is the paradox of influence. The more you listen, the more powerful your words become when you finally speak three. Confidence commands respect. The man who hesitates to speak is already defeated before he utters a word. In every room you walk into, your confidence will speak before your message ever arrives. If your voice shakes, if your eyes dart, if your presence shrinks, the world will shrink its attention in return. But when you speak with authority, When your words come from a place of certainty, the world will stop to listen. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is alignment. It is the outward display of an inner truth that says, I know who I am, I know what I believe, I know what I stand for. Most people confuse confidence with loudness, but the most confident speaker doesn't need to yell. He doesn't need to overcompensate. His calmness carries weight. His poise carries power. He has nothing to prove because he knows what he brings. He has already made peace with his value, and that peace is contagious. The world treats you as you treat yourself. If you present yourself as uncertain, unworthy, unsure, people will mirror that energy right back at you. But if you enter the room like you belong there, others will treat you accordingly, not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. The truth is, most people are waiting to be told how to respond to you. They don't know if they should take you seriously, respect your opinion, or follow your lead until you show them how you see yourself. Your confidence is the cue. When you speak as though you expect to be heard, people listen. When you express yourself with the tone of authority, people lean in. But when you dilute your power with apologies, over-explaining, and second-guessing, you strip your words of influence. Confidence is the frame that holds your message together. Without it, even the greatest truth will fall apart. To build confidence in communication, you must first build confidence in thought. Insecure speech comes from insecure belief. If you're unsure about your message, your audience will be unsure about it too. But if you've done the work, if you've studied your subject, lived your values, clarified your mission, then your voice will carry the weight of that conviction. Confidence is not pretending to be something you're not. It is the byproduct of knowing exactly what you are. Train your voice to reflect the strength of your intention. Breathe deeply. Speak from your diaphragm. Let your tone be steady, not shaky. Let your words flow like a river, not stumble like pebbles in a stream. Confidence in your voice comes from consistency in your mind. Repetition breeds certainty. Practice your message until it becomes part of your nature. The man who rehearses in private will command in public. The man who confronts fear daily becomes the man who speaks with unshakable calm. And remember, people will only believe in your message if they believe in you. If you carry yourself with doubt, your words will land like whispers. But if you speak with assurance, even simple truths become powerful. Confidence creates emotional gravity. It draws people into your orbit. They may not even agree with you at first, but your certainty will force them to pay attention. And once attention is captured, transformation can begin. Your posture matters, your eye contact matters, your stillness matters. Nervous energy leaks out of the body before it ever reaches the mouth. The confident communicator doesn't fidget, doesn't flinch, doesn't flee from silence. He welcomes it. He understands that the space between words is just as important as the words themselves. His pauses are intentional. His presence is undeniable, and his power lies not in how much he says, but in how he says it. When you speak with confidence, you create momentum. Confidence attracts opportunities. It attracts allies. It attracts resources. People follow strength, not the strength of ego, but the strength of stability. They follow the one who makes decisions when others hesitate. They follow the one whose voice cuts through confusion with clarity. And all of that begins with your belief in your own voice. Until you respect what you say, don't expect others to. Until you own your truth, don't expect others to invest in it. Confidence is not a strategy. It is a standard. And once you raise that standard, everything begins to change for. Emotion is the gateway to persuasion. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't make people feel something, your ideas will die on the vine. Logic may win the mind, but emotion captures the heart, and it is the heart that makes decisions. The man who wants to persuade must learn to stir emotion. He must speak in a way that awakens feeling, because facts alone are forgettable, but feeling lives on long after the conversation ends. People do not remember your bullet points. They remember how your words made them believe, hope, cry, or rise. The mistake most communicators make is trying to impress instead of trying to connect. They throw data at the audience. They build arguments like walls, but people don't climb walls. They lean into stories. They don't crave perfection. They crave connection. If your message doesn't make them feel, it won't move them. And if it doesn't move them, it will never matter. Persuasion begins where emotional resonance begins. You must learn the language of the soul. You must find the pain, the dreams, the fears that dwell beneath the surface. And then you must speak directly to them. Use vivid language. Use imagery. Use metaphors that bring your ideas to life. When you speak, your listener should see your words. They should feel them in their chest. Emotion is not decoration. It is the engine. Great communicators tell stories, not because stories are entertaining, but because stories bypass resistance. A well-told story is truth wrapped in emotion. It invites the listener to lower their guard and enter a world where change feels possible. When you tell a story, you don't argue, you guide. You don't push, you pull. And once the heart is open, the mind follows naturally. But emotional persuasion is not manipulation. It is not the act of bending feelings to deceive. It is the art of elevating truth through feeling. Speak with sincerity. Speak from your own pain, your own triumph, your own passion. When your voice trembles because the story means something to you, the listener leans in, because they can tell you're not acting. You're reliving, you're revealing, and that vulnerability becomes strength. Every emotion you evoke has a purpose. Fear awakens attention. Hope activates imagination. Anger can call for justice. Pride can ignite action. Use them wisely. Know your audience. Study their needs. What are they longing for? What are they avoiding? What future do they dream of? And what past are they running from? Your words must be a bridge between their present pain and their future promise. That's what real persuasion is, not manipulation, but motivation. You must also learn to feel your own words. Don't speak from the surface, speak from the core. If your message doesn't light a fire in you, it won't light a fire in anyone else. Emotion is contagious. If you believe deeply, they will too. But if you speak with dullness, with detachment, with dryness, then no amount of facts can save you. Cold communication leads to cold results. Warmth, on the other hand, breaks barriers. Passion melts resistance. Great persuasion is musical. It has rhythm. It rises and falls. It pauses for effect. It builds tension and then releases it with power. Your voice must carry emotion like a symphony carries sound. Learn to pace your words. Learn when to whisper and when to roar. Learn to use silence like a weapon. Let the emotion do the heavy lifting. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how it made them feel. Emotion is the secret lever. It turns listeners into believers. It transforms doubt into desire. It takes ordinary speech and gives it wings. But to unlock this, you must first be willing to go deeper than most are willing to go. You must tap into your own scars, your own longings, your own victories. Only then will your words carry the emotional truth that moves men and women to action. The greatest communicators are not those who speak perfectly, but those who speak passionately. 5. Practice is the price of mastery. No man becomes a master communicator by wishing for it. The polished speaker, the magnetic leader, the unforgettable voice behind revolutions, they were all forged through repetition, not talent. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards preparation, and preparation begins with relentless practice. You don't become great at communication in front of a crowd. You become great when no one is watching. You become great in the silence of solitude, where effort echoes louder than applause. The man who trains in obscurity earns his influence in the light. You want to speak with power, then speak daily. Speak to yourself. Speak in the mirror. Record your voice and study every word, every pause, every weakness. Read out loud. Memorize greatness and mimic it until you become it. The only way to sharpen a sword is to grind it against resistance, and the only way to sharpen your voice is to grind it against practice. Do not wait for the perfect opportunity, create it. Every conversation is a chance to refine your message. Every disagreement is a test of your clarity. Every question is a stage where your character and composure can be revealed. Speak, learn, adapt, speak again. Your growth as a communicator is directly tied to the number of times you've failed forward. Nobody remembers your mistakes when you've mastered the message, but you never reach mastery without first walking through the fire of mistakes. The world belongs to those who keep showing up. The weak speaker avoids feedback. The strong one seeks it, because he knows that criticism is not an attack, it's a tool. Listen to your own recordings, let others review them. Strip your ego from the process, because your ego will always try to protect your comfort zone, but your vision demands that you break it. Your voice is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes, but the less you use it, the more it atrophies into mediocrity. Speak with intention, but also speak with frequency. You cannot become a world-class communicator by speaking once a week. It must be daily. Read something powerful out loud every morning. Articulate your goals with precision. Tell your story until the words flow like a river. Confidence is born from competence, and competence is born from consistency. The man who practices every day becomes unshakable, not because he's fearless, but because he's familiar. Don't fall into the trap of perfectionism. You don't need perfect words. You need real ones. You don't need flawless execution. You need relentless repetition. Improvement is messy, growth is awkward, you will stumble, you will forget your lines, you will be misunderstood, but if you keep showing up, those stumbles will become rhythm, that awkwardness will become authenticity, and your message will gain the weight of earned experience. Speak when you're nervous, speak when you're tired, speak when it's uncomfortable. That is how you build a voice that can withstand pressure. That is how you develop the muscle to command respect in any room. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training, and if your training has been consistent, your performance will be extraordinary. Most people give up after a few tries, but the man who stays in the arena long enough becomes the master others admire. Think of every great orator in history. None of them were born great. They spoke when no one listened. They spoke when no one believed in them. They practiced in private while the world laughed, but they stayed faithful to the process, and the process repaid them with influence that still echoes through time. That same reward is waiting for you, but only if you're willing to pay the price in sweat. Mastery is not something you chase. It is something you build brick by brick, repetition by repetition. Every word you speak with purpose is a brick. Every uncomfortable moment you face is a brick. Every time you ask for feedback instead of praise is a brick. Stack those bricks with discipline, and soon you will stand on a foundation that cannot be shaken by doubt, silence, or criticism. The man who builds himself through practice becomes immune to the opinions of the world because his ability was not given. It was earned. 6. Words shape reality. There is a power that dwells in your tongue. A power so potent it can create or destroy, uplift or paralyze, build empires or crumble them into dust. Your words are not just sounds. They are commands. They are seeds. They are invisible builders of your visible world. The man who masters his words is the man who shapes his life with precision and purpose. The one who speaks with no awareness of this power lives as a victim to his own voice. But the one who understands the weight of language begins to speak as a creator. Look around you. Everything you see was once spoken into existence. Every structure, every relationship, every business, every movement. It began with words. Someone dared to declare a vision before the vision existed. Someone painted a picture with language before the brush ever touched the canvas, and in doing so, they gave life to what had no form. That is the role of your words, to give form to your future. You speak your identity long before you become it. Call yourself disciplined, and your habits begin to align. Speak strength, and your actions rise to match. Declare growth, and your mind begins to search for opportunity. But speak weakness, and your will begins to shrink. Speak failure, and your decisions bend toward defeat. You are always programming your subconscious with your speech. The question is, are you programming for power or for paralysis? Speak as if your words are laws, because to your brain they are. What you consistently say becomes what you consistently believe, and what you believe becomes the standard you operate from. Most people destroy their potential not by what others tell them, but by the quiet, corrosive words they whisper to themselves every day. I can't, I'm not good enough, it's too hard, I'll never succeed. These aren't just thoughts. They are toxic commands that shape your posture, energy, and direction. You must take radical ownership of your language. Start declaring what you want to see. Replace doubt with declaration. Replace fear with fire. Speak your goals as if they already exist. Speak your values as if they are unshakable. Speak your future as if it is inevitable. Because the words you speak today are the blueprints for the world you will inhabit tomorrow. Words influence not only your own mind, but the minds of those around you. When you speak life, you give others permission to believe again. When you speak with vision, you awaken dormant ambition in the hearts of those who hear you. When you speak with fire, others catch flame. But when you speak carelessly, you poison the atmosphere. Words are contagious. Speak bitterness, and the room turns cold. Speak hope, and people rise. Your leadership is measured not by your title, but by your ability to use words to ignite movement. A real leader doesn't need a stage. He needs a sentence. One sentence can stir an army. One message can shift a culture. One idea, spoken with conviction, can become the spark that transforms nations. But it begins with the understanding that your voice is not random. It is your greatest instrument of impact. Your words must be chosen with the precision of a craftsman. Do not speak from emotion unless emotion is aligned with truth. Do not vent frustration if that frustration leads others into despair. Speak solutions. Speak direction. Speak purpose. When others complain, you must create. When others curse, you must command. Your voice must be a lighthouse, not a storm. Every sentence must serve a mission. Speak to yourself as a champion would. Feed your mind words of resilience, of power, of clarity. Cut out toxic speech like you would remove poison from your food. There is no room for casual negativity in the vocabulary of greatness. Every great man, every high achiever, every world changer has disciplined their language with the same intensity they discipline their body and mind, because they know that sloppy words equal sloppy life. You were given a voice for a reason, not just to communicate, but to create. Use it wisely. Speak as if you are writing the script of your destiny, because you are. Speak as if you're commanding armies of action behind every thought, because you are. Your words are not entertainment. They are instruction. They are blueprint. They are prophecy in motion. Your voice is your power, your influence, and your path to mastery. The clarity of your thoughts, the depth of your listening, the strength of your confidence, the fire of your emotion, the discipline of your practice, and the intention of your words all shape the legacy you leave. Communication is not just a skill. It is a reflection of who you are becoming. Speak with purpose, and you will lead with purpose. Sharpen your message, and you sharpen your future. In a world full of noise, the one who speaks with mastery becomes the voice that echoes beyond the moment.